Welcome back to Let's Clone. My name would be Stephen French, and what are we doing? We're doing Ice Climber. Motherfucker. Welcome back to Let's Clone. My name would be Stephen French, and I want to say Nitpicker before I say Ice Climber. And this is part 12 of Ice Climber. This shit is taking way longer than I thought. I thought it'd be 6 or 7. But it's time for us to get picky about some nits, and I guess that's my bad way to say we're doing Nitpicker today. First things first, we need a sprite for the nit. So come into our enemies, create a spurt. Oops. Whoa, caps lock. Sprite, Nitpicker. I'm gonna keep it lazy. Edit, file, create. We should have 3 images of Nitpicker here. I actually remember to remove that. We only need the first 2 right now, but we're gonna take all of them to make it easier. These are 18 by 18. Come in here, this guy, clip him out. We don't need him. Don't need them yet. I used the cut for a reason. Alright, so we've got the Nitpicker. Now we have sprite, Nitpicker, dead, which is why I just held on to that sprite. Center it. Done. Come into our objects. Enemies. Object for Nitpicker. And we can get into the fun part. Nitpicker live. We're going to change this depth to -99. I don't anything of a lower value, so because we want him to be in front of the map. No parents. Create. Initialize the smaller bird. Alright, so here we're going to set our image speed equal to 0.1. We are going to give him the variable of last x is equal to x. It doesn't matter what it's equal to here, we're just initializing it. Then we're going to say is alive. I believe we use capital for the live on the last one, so we're going to try to be consistent with that. Is equal to true. Now there's one more line of code that we need to do here, which is kind of the whole point for Nitpicker, and that is we're going to be working with paths. So we want to initialize his path, the path that he'll be traveling when we create him. This is my first time actually playing with paths, and they're fun. They're pretty useful, and they were a little bit tricky at first. I was trying to run this in my step event, and then he would just go in a straight line and he would never follow his loop. I fixed that. So we're going to do a path start. We don't have a path yet, but we're going to call it path Nitpicker. We're going to give this a value of 1, 0, and 0, or a true, false, false. I will inform you on that in just a second here. If you middle click, you can always bring up the help menu. So the 4 parameters we're passing is the path that we want to pass to the player to follow. The speed of which we want to set, we're going to see more about that when we're actually creating the path. The end action, which we have 4 different actions here. You can end the path, you can continue, you can restart, so you go back to the beginning of the path, or if you have a loop, you continue following it. You can continue from the current position and just recycle the animation, or in that new position, or you can go backwards along the path. You can reverse it. So all very useful at different times. We could make a more intricate path that's a little more like the actual Nitpicker if we played around with this more, but I'm just going to give a pretty basic one that seems good enough. And then our absolute is going to be if we're right here. So this green piece, we're going to pretend that that's the path and that's our starting position. If it's absolute, it's going to start right here. But say the object was down here when we initialize the path. If it's absolute, it's going to teleport up to here and then follow the path. If it's not, then it's going to move the path down to its starting location, which is how we're going to be using it today. So we set that absolute to false. But let's actually make our path before we go any further. We copy this. So we have the name, create a path, give the path a name, and you can here load in a background. So we're playing with the game room here because we want, I guess, it to look like that. And we're going to hover and make a loop right around this top tier. It can kind of move a lot more. We can randomize where we place it. I'm probably not going to get into too much detail as to that. I didn't care to watch the Nitpicker enough to fully map it out. He does a couple similar loops. We're just going to pick one of them, and if you want, you can flip it and have him go in either direction. We're just going to do a little bit of a simpler version. But we're going to start up high. He's going to come... Actually, how did I think I did it this way. I drew it somewhere. That's fine. So this doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but we're going to bring him down to here. We're going to, go there. I'm going to not close this loop. So I'm going to run this. Let's snap our Y by 8. So we can get him to here. We're gonna I'm just gonna make a circle, like a symmetrical circle right in the center of all this shit that he's doing. And then here we're gonna do the same thing going back up. But then we'll bring it down a little bit. Oops. We'll have him come over this way. Oops. Come up to here, and then he's gonna go. So that's gonna be our flight path. Not exactly like Nitpickers. I don't care too much to make it exact. You can make it a smooth curve, so it's gonna be smooth curved. it's pretty simple. Like, just draw the path that you want it, have it loop back around if you don't, have it smooth, have it straight, whichever one you want it to be. Now, speed as that parameter that we had for when we initialize the path is referencing two different variables. Here it's referencing the 100 as far as like this is 100% of whatever our movement speed is that we're telling the player to move at. So it's moving at 100% of that speed, I guess. But if we were to take this point and drop the speed down to 50, then as the Nitpicker would fly, it would start to slow down to 50% of its root speed, and then it would pick back up following whatever these are. That's all that a path is just pretty much two-dimensional, well, an array holding two values in each cell, array of vectors, I guess, and it's just going point to point. It's pretty easy to make your own, so I figured the paths would be easy to use because I've made my own and they were pretty easy to do. But here we are again. We have path start, starting with Nitpicker's path that we just made at a speed of, we're moving 1 for 1 pixel, but it's going to be going at 100% speed of 1 pixel. If we did 2 here and then we made all those variables 50%, then this would be still a 1. So you can play with that as much as you want. End case, we're just going to, I think 0 is just end. When we get to the end, we're actually going to run a bit of code and delete the path and the picker when we get there. Absolute no, so we can put the bird wherever we want it. That is done. I am going to come down really quick side tangent. Nope. I haven't opened that folder in a while. Controller, I think, yeah, right here. Our polar bear comes out way too fast. I think this is actually like 30 seconds when it's supposed to be double that. So actually we'll do that. We'll make it about the minute. I don't think we're going to be playing long enough for a minute to appear. No, we're going to keep it at 90. That should be about 1800, I think, for to be a little more accurate with the game. But we're going to come into our step, our debug, which isn't really a debug. This is more of a skip screen input. So we will kind of make a debug for, what do I have here? Is that spawn? Spawn bear. All right, yeah. Debug spawn nit. If keyboard check pressed, virtual key shift, why not? Then instance create at x. I'm going to do object camera dot y minus 50, so it's going to be a little bit higher than I guess that color change line in the camera, the green to red, and then we want an object Nitpicker. So if we hit shift, we're going to create a Nitpicker. That's just going to be our testing model for now, and it's good enough for me. Good. So we have a create event. The Nitpicker is started. He has its speed. Let me just read quickly what I need because we might be able to do a little bit of a test now. Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. So, open this game up, track down my controller, sip on my coffee, check that I went to little face because I did. Didn't fuck that one up today. Open up. Okie Loki, you keep on playing that whenever I film. Where's my game? Alright, we're gonna try this again. Open the game. Back to coffee. I think I fucked up before. Alright, so skip the game because there's no camera in those two screens, so it wouldn't work. Hit shift, and oh, we got a bird. Now, that bird is starting way over there. I think I did something really stupid. Spawn the nit. So I did it at x, which is dumb, and it should be at 0, or maybe even like a -4, because we want them to be off the screen a little bit and then fly in. My apologies. Cool. Aw, little kitty toes. Yeah, I'm sorry, that was me. Skip the menu, skip the intro. We've got a bird. I still have that counter on the side. Well, that's got to count way fucking high now. Hit and shift. Here's our bird. He comes out. He's gonna fly around. Now you'll see in the actual game he kind of like slows down to almost a stop here, and then he flies around, almost a stop here, and flies around, which we could fix that with changing that speed variable. But he's flying around a little bit. He's gonna come up. He's gonna blink on out the screen. He's just gonna stop right there. Now because the path is done, all we told him was to end the path. He doesn't have any other movement variables. He's not affected by gravity. There's our bear right around that 900. We're good to go. So let me see first. I think camera is where I'm printing that number. And I don't want to be printing it anymore. Maybe controller. Although I don't think. No. Is it my spawn bear? Yes. I just don't feel like having that. Oh, get rid of both of these. No reason I'm printing that variable anymore. Alright, so our nitpicker works, but obviously it's a little bit crude, and we need to flash them up a little bit. So let's create a step. No, let's not do that there. Let's get rid of that. Let's create a step event. Fuck. Step event. There. You son of a. We're good. Life of the smaller bird. As I've been saying, don't copy my commenting. Just do better. Do better than me. Quick side tangent. In a university, we had a programming like lab, and TA would have to come over and verify that you got all the right outputs. And I would have variable names like blue butthole. I don't know, it just made me laugh. And I would totally forget that, oh shit, an adult is gonna have to come read this. And every time they go over like, blue butthole? I'm like, yeah, it works, right? So don't comment like me. That's just, immature. So let's see, in our step event, we're going to end flight path. I just have all these out. We're going to just bang them all out and then kind of go over them. There might not be an intuitive order, but we're going to say if path position is equal to 1. Now what this reads or asks for is whatever object is it's checking within, it's going to check whatever path it's on, and it's going to give it a number from 0 to 1 of how far along that path it is. Halfway it's going to return a 0.5, at the end it's going to return a 1. How we have it right now, he would get to the end and he would stop, and it would just keep reading 1 because he's at the end of the path. Yeah, so all we're going to do is when we get there is path end. I don't know if deleting the object would end the path already, but I don't want to take that chance at having that extra data in there, so we're just going to end it. And then we're just going to get rid of the bird. He's only going to do a single flight, and then we're done with that boy. We're going to say death fall is going to be when we hit him with the hammer, he's going to just drop out of the sky, and that's why we gave him if alive. So we're going to say if alive, or rather if dead, meaning that obviously you could predict that we would have had run a code that would kill or end that variable with a hammer hit. We're going to say y plus equals 3, so we're just going to fall vertically. We're going to say if y is greater than view the y of the view plus, oh my god, Steven, view height of the view, then we're going to say instance destroy. We're not going to worry about getting rid of the path because we will do that on the collision. And let me just explain to you what that means really quick. Should be intuitive, but just in case. So we have our actual room. We have a visible room. Alright, so our view, if we go down into views, is this white box, which is just on top of the camera for right now. We're checking that if our nitpicker, let me grab one. Enemies, nitpicker. So we're checking this little nitpicker. If he is hit, and then he's going to be falling vertically. So he's just falling vertically, but if his y is greater than view y and view plus view height, which would mean that we're down here, where I'm getting those numbers is, the view y is going to be this point right here, the point on the view. So since this is down however many pixels, that would be that value. The height of the view is obviously the height of the view. So no matter where, we're just going to move the camera as if it's a view, no matter where the camera or the view is, its y will change, its height will always be the same, but that's how we find out where, I guess, the y condition for the bottom of the view is. And it's just a simple way to do that. When we get to the bottom, he dies because he's out of frame and we don't need him to be alive anyways. So, but we're gonna worry about killing him in a second. We're gonna say face move direction is actually the first thing I coded when I did this the first time, and it probably should be up at the top, but I don't think it matters too much. If x is greater than last x, whoopsies, then, oh my god, image x scale is equal to 1. Now else if x is less than last x. Now you can do this in a whole bunch of ways. Image x scale is equal to -1. Now I'm ignoring if x is equal to last x, which will happen on a couple of frames because I think we have a little bit of a vertical part in the path. I'm just going to have him stay facing whatever direction he was facing, so I'm excluding that condition. You could also set this, just do like an image x scale is equal to -1 and then only have this condition, and then so it'll always turn into -1, but it'll always turn into 1 in that one frame, and by the time it gets drawn I doubt you'll see a difference. But I just like to do it this way, so I did. And then we, at the end, just need to update that last, update last x. I don't know why I did capitals there, but last x is equal to x. So we're going to be comparing the current x to the last x, and then immediately after updating the last x as the current x, so when we move it is now the last x. Hopefully that's intuitive. Alright, nearly done. Let me just get into the collision code and then we'll come back and kind of wrap everything up and make sure that it works. I think there's also one other thing that we got to do. Popo collision. A little bird goes on a date with a big hammer. We're going to immediately say path, and again, I don't know if destroying the bird is enough to get rid of that, so that's all we're doing. Sprite index is equal to sprite nitpicker dead. We already understand how that works. We should probably set the image speed to 0, but it wouldn't actually matter since there's only one sprite image in that, so don't worry about that too much. And then is alive is equal to false. Cool. So we've got the flight figured out. We already added the path. Changing that image x scale is going to flip him so he sees the correct direction. That was all done right here, so we can have that sprite facing right and left, whatever way he's flying. When we hit him, we're setting good thing I caught that, is alive to false. We're going to set him into a vertical plummet, and we're going to check that when he is low enough that we're going to destroy him. In the meantime, when we set that to false, we killed his path and we changed his sprite index and his animation speed, which again didn't really matter. Here is just what happens before that. If path position is equal to 1, we're ending the path. So he's just going to die and disappear when he gets to the end of the code. We could move that last index of the path outside of the game room so he flies all the way off screen before disappearing, but just viewing that little pop is going to be kind of confirmation for me that this is happening. I think the last thing that we're going to need to do is to have the bird be able to kill the player. I didn't actually do this one yet because I imagine it's going to be the same as when the Topi hits him, so I'm just going to copy that code. But we're going to come in here. There's going to be a bird flying as soon as I hit shift. Good thing I did this playthrough because I got to remember to have that automated. But he's going to shift. Alright, fuck up this seal. We hit him and he drops out of the sky. Dead bird. Dead bird. And then let's see really quick, how is Popo dying? Alright, good. Let's just death by Topi. He died. Good old Dark Souls ref. I think that this is going to be the only thing we need. So we're going to, I guess I'll just copy this. Copy, have a collision with our nitpicker. Oh, my mouse. Paste, so death by nitpicker. No, nitpicker. I cannot spell and laugh at the same time. So if the nitpicker is alive when we hit him, or when he hits us, we're going to change the current state over to death. We're going to change our image index over to 0. We're going to change our current state. Oh, if our current state is not already death, then we're going to change our image index to 0 and set the current death, and then that enters Popo's state machine that we've already done, so we don't have to worry about it. Haven't tested this out yet, so let's give that a little bit of a try. And we still haven't done anything with points yet. That's going to be a pretty redundant episode when we get around to it, but it happens. So this bird comes flying out of the sky, and he hits us, we die. That is how you game. So, where did we do the... I think we could do it in the controller. Oh, I got shit going on. I don't know how long before the guy spawns. I didn't really check that, so we're gonna say delay Nitpicker can't type is equal to, we're gonna give him 1 every 30 seconds just for a test. We're going to say no. Step, give him, we're gonna actually do this as a spawn. We're gonna say if room is equal to room main. We're gonna say if we don't have any alarms, I don't think. No, we don't. So if alarm 0 is less than 0, then alarm 0 is equal to delay the Nitpicker. So 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, we're going to whoop, 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 whoop. Spawn Nitpicker after delay. We're going to say instance. Create pretty much the same thing we did before with the shift, although I should have copied that into here because it would have been easier. I'm going to say -4 so he's off screen. We're going to say object camera dot y minus, we'll do 48, I think is the actual alignment of that spot. And we're going to say object Nitpicker. We're going to wait 3 seconds, see if this boy is spawned. Now, I think that's just going to keep spawning it every 3 seconds. I don't think it's going to, I don't even know if the actual game cares if there's one on the screen already. I'm pretty sure it's longer than a 3 second delay, so it doesn't quite matter. But it's kind of neat to watch all these birds just kind of fly in a loop. But yeah, he can kill us, we can kill him, they're going to fly around, we got a little flock of birds. Change that number, make it a minute if you want, give it a random variable, make it either 1 minute or 30 seconds or 2 minutes, whatever you want. You can check if you don't want any duplicates to appear. You could even do if this is less than 0 and instance exists, although have that with an exclamation point. Instance does not exist of the picker, so that way you can only have one on the screen. Plenty of ways to do it, make it feel a little bit like your own. I think that is it. Hopefully this video is a little bit clear. Should be pretty intuitive. It's pretty simple code, at least compared to some of the other stuff that we've done. But we've got a little bird flying around the game. He can kill us, we can kill him. All of our mobs are now in the game. Now is, I don't know if I would really count score as a polish. I kind of do, because it's not the actual like mechanics of the game. It's not what you're playing. It's just kind of the benefit that you seek from it. I think of that a little bit as a polish. So we can probably do points next, or I don't know. Hopefully there's only a few episodes left in this, but I've said that a few times now, and this is part 12. So I'm gonna stop making those predictions. Enjoy the fuck out of your day, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.